Okay, fellas, I spoke too soon yesterday. We made a guide on the community quests, and I estimated that potentially 4 days would be required to complete it. Yeah, that was grossly overestimated. I logged on today to see us at only 5% at the EDZ, 1% at the Moon, and 1% at Aya. Put that in perspective, last night we actually streamed doing the Seraph Tower public events until 12 at night. And when I got off, we were at 4% in the EDZ, 1% at the Moon, and 1% at Aya. Fellas, that was 12 hours ago. We've gained only 1%. Needless to say, nobody is doing this event is the only explanation that I got. Now, I haven't really broke down the new numbers yet, but there are some people in the community running some estimates, and they're saying on this current trajectory, we could see a completion here of this event in 23 to 24 days. There's actually only 27 days left of the season, which seems about right. Matter of fact, if you go to Dim or Ishtar Commander, you can see the completions there in front of you. And currently right now, we have 154,681 completions out of 3 million. A mere 22,000 on the Moon completed and just 13,000 on Aya. Like already, if I was to even look at this, just based off of the EDZ numbers, I would say that this quest is going to take freaking forever, okay? 154,681. Jesus Christ. That's a drop in the bucket to the ginormous 3 million that you have to do in order to just complete just one of these destinations. So if the current speculations are correct, 24 days is best case scenario. Worst case scenario, we don't even finish this quest this season, which is kind of crazy because the question comes up, what if we don't finish this quest? Nim Plays here actually put out a post asking folks to vote up on who's going to be contributing to this community quest. Now, I know this doesn't speak for everyone in the community, but I would say these metrics are about right. No one this late in the season wants to do Seraph Tower events. The people that have already grinded out the Warmon cells, the people that have already gotten the titles, you're telling me that you're going to ask those same folks to load back in to these Seraph Tower public events and complete 9 million of them? Oh, and on top of that, Seraph Tower events are harder to complete now. Yeah, I don't know when did this change happen. I believe they may be slightly faster to complete, but they're harder to complete. Even me with all of these blueberries around me yesterday, we still fell close to 10 to 20% of our Seraph Tower public events, mainly due to fatigue. Like after a while, like I said yesterday, you just kind of get in autopilot and you forget to play the objective. And even though Fellwinter's Line, which is the reward for doing this community quest, even though this is a beautiful looking shotgun, I don't think it's worth 9 million public event completions. Granted, they're Guardian completions, but still, it's a shitload. By the way, for those that don't know, we had a number of people in the comment section yesterday saying that Fellwinter will not compare to Mindbender because it doesn't have quick draw. It does. It actually has quick draw, slide shot, opening shot, and Vorpal. Those are the weapon perks. On top of that, full choke and shot package is the first of its kind. I've never seen that before. I mean, I've seen shot package before, back in the day when it used to snipe people, back inside of D1. I definitely think that Fellwinter will do the exact same thing in this sandbox, but just know, Fellwinter is still a fantastic weapon. But at this point, I feel like there's more PvP players that are trying to complete Seraph Tower public events to get this shotgun than PvE players. Because PvE players, most dedicated PvE players, have already acquired everything that this season has to offer. On top of that, if you were somebody that was playing Guardian games, you've been on that 3-week-long binge of doing all these bounties, contributing medals, all this stuff, to suddenly be hit with another 3 weeks of just some of the most boring gameplay. And again, Seraph Tower public events, it's all right, okay? I'm not trying to just crap on this activity, but there's no reward for really doing it, especially at this point in the season. You know, it's not like it was last season with the Sundial and Fractalines. You know, nobody liked to sit there and turn in thousands and thousands of Fractaline, but at the same time, when you were turning in Fractalines, you were potentially getting God rolls. And you were like, all right, hey, you know, this is actually pretty good. Getting some God rolls. On top of that, you get to see your investment build up week to week. On top of that, the Sundial in general was just more interesting. And you got direct rewards from doing the Sundial. The rewards from Seraph Tower public events is piss poor in comparison to the Sundial. Now, this person named Aston put up a comment which was kind of intriguing. It stated, what if Bungie purposely made an event that can't be completed in time? They also purposely made the reward for this impossible event a crazy, overpowered shotgun that they knew the perks would be data mined. Remember how they faked us out with Gallahorn at the Spider? So what does this mean? Fellwinter Line was a pipe dream and is not coming back. The overpowered perks were purposely planned in the database to be found. We are meant to fail this event, have the almighty crash, and we are meant to feel shitty about it. Am I wrong? Okay. This is pretty far-fetched. I agree, though, partly. And here's where I agree. I think Fellwinter's Lie is definitely going to be a gun we get some way or another. Maybe not from this quest. Dude, wouldn't it be a hell of a debate if Bungie was like, yo, the pursuit weapon for next season is Fellwinter's Lie. Oh, you didn't finish the quest out, fellas? Well, too bad. But about failing this quest, right? What if Bungie created such a crazy quest that they wanted us to fail it? Here's my prediction, fellas. I think the Almighty, which is what the narrative is, right? The Almighty is coming toward us and is supposed to destroy Earth and everything on Earth, right? Including the Traveler. Now, I think what's going to happen is at some point in the quest, whether through completion or just hitting a certain threshold, Rasputin will activate, will shoot something at the Almighty, okay? Maybe it's a nuke, who knows? The Almighty won't be destroyed because it's ginormous, but maybe it'll be deflected. It makes a sharp left turn though in its deflection and runs straight into Titan. By the way, there's been all kinds of stuff about Titan supposedly being destroyed here soon, which there's a bunch of stuff that is kind of confirming that theory. Number one, Say No to Rage actually posted up a screenshot this morning where the emblem from Sloan on Titan, the new Pacific Arcology, now says limited time. Now, why all of a sudden is this emblem at a limited time? And a lot of people were jumping up and saying, well, wait a minute, the guns also are on limited time. It's always been that way. And yes, you are right. The guns are on limited time because there is a rotation for them, but not the emblem. Now, these armor pieces can be earned, I want to say, as global drops, right? These armor pieces, and maybe these armor pieces will be earned as a future global drop in some way. But this emblem, it's a good chance the only way you can get the new Pacific Arcology emblem is physically on Titan, which will be physically impossible if the Almighty gets deflected and destroys Titan. Now, there's a lot of speculation to why Titan will be destroyed. I think it actually makes complete sense from an asset perspective on Bungie's end. Titan is really not tied to anything else, right? There's no raid directly tied to Titan. So in terms of like comparing asset to asset, planet to planet, outside of Greg, Titan is pretty expendable, whereas something like Nessus is not. You got too much tied to Nessus. You've got Forges, you've got Menagerie, you got Tribute Hall, you've got raids. Titan, you don't. But considering that Bungie is looking to cut some assets down, considering the size of the game to allow them to include future patches and future expansions, Titan seems like it's going to be destroyed. I'm almost positive this is the case. Now, how it's going to be tied to us narratively, it could actually be tied to this quest. Again, from the description of the Lie quest, Rasputin wants a closer look at how Guardians works. Help him set up a network of defenses. And then he goes on to say, complete public events as a community on the 3 destinations. I really think that what we're doing in this quest is going to decide whether or not Rasputin actually acts and does something to the Almighty that is hurling itself toward us. Now, the comment that's being made is, hey, what if we all just boycott this event? What if no one does this event? Well, it's kind of a win-win in Bungie's book, right? If no one does this event, Rasputin can go, well, you contributed a little bit, which is why I'm not going to destroy the Almighty completely. I'm just going to deflect it into Titan. But then say we struggle. We do everything we can. We somehow complete the entire quest, 100% it, get Fellwinter's Lie, look at Rasputin and say, Rasputin, we did it. We did 9 million Seraph Tower public events like you asked. Rasputin will say, all right, I will now save you, mankind. Proceed to hit the Almighty and do a oopsies and run it straight into Titan. So you understand, like, either one of those scenarios works in Bungie's favor. And considering how radio silent Bungie is right now, I think the quest line is going to remain exactly how it is. No one at Bungie has said anything, at least in my knowledge, at least not on Twitter. Not Cosmo, not DMG. So as far as like the quest changing, I don't think it is, fellas. I think the grind that you see in front of you, what's required to do it, is going to still remain the same. And I almost feel like Bungie wants us to intentionally fail. Personally, fellas, I'm going to be loading up into Seraph Tower public events. I'm going to be doing them because I really want the shotgun. Like I just do. I love Fellwinter's Lie. I want to test it. I want to review it. I want to see what this new shot package perk does inside of D2. I knew what it did back in D1, but I want to see it now. So I'm somewhat invigorated. At the same time, though, I spent close to 8 hours yesterday doing Seraph Tower public events, and seeing that this is how far we got, it's kind of demoralizing, to say the least. The only other speculation that I can think of is that the 3 planets that we're having to do these Seraph Tower public events on, whichever one we least contribute to in terms of Seraph Tower completions, is the one that will be destroyed. That's the other gamer theory that's kind of like floating around out there, is that whichever one of these we don't contribute to will be the one that's going to get the axe. Which is kind of crazy, because I don't know how you do that. You can't kill the moon, right? We got Shadowkeep there. There's still going to be people in the future buying Shadowkeep expansion. You can't take out the EDZ. Maybe Io? But Io's a tough one. What are you going to do about Whisper of the Worm? You know, there's a lot of quests that's tied there. Again, the more expendable planet does seem to be tight, which does hurt my soul, man. I don't want to see Greg go. But it seems like the logical thing that Bungie is going to do, whether we succeed at this quest or fail at it. And again, like I said, Bungie's going to swap the narrative. Headline being, Destiny players fail the community quest, loses an entire planet. Can you imagine the headline, fellas? Or vice versa. Destiny players succeed at completing this extremely difficult and time-consuming community quest, saves planet Earth, but subsequently destroys one of their other planets during its defense. I don't know, guys. It can flip-flop. And I know this sounds like mad speculation. All I can say, for the next 2-3 weeks, you might want to take a trip to Greg, you know? Just hang out with him for a second. Let him know how much you love him. Enjoy Titan's atmosphere for a second. I know it's kind of creepy. There's a big giant worm on the planet, but I really think it's on its way out, one way or another. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.